Good. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is Asim Adams, Esquire. Asim Adams is a legal practitioner. He's a civil rights crusader and also the convener of Lawyers Without Borders. Good morning, Asim, and welcome.
Good morning, Russia. Good morning, Nigerians. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year as well.
Happy, wonderful year is going to be for us in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Yes.
It's going to be wonderful. I mean, Asim, I'm starting this new year with you as my guest.
Absolutely.
That is very symbolic.
Very, very symbolic.
Considering that it's been a while.
It's been a long time.
An open conversation.
Absolutely. Me too. I've missed open conversation.
You're welcome.
Yes, well done.
And then on to the story. Rivers State government has clarified that the 100,000 Naira Christmas bonus paid in 2025 was a uniform gesture extended to all civil servants, public office holders, and pensioners on the state payroll, including members of the House of Assembly, amid controversy over its acceptance. In a statement issued in Port Harcourt, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information and Communications, Dr. Honor Sirawu, said the payment was a token of appreciation for workers' dedication and has been consistently disbursed for the past 3 years. He noted that the bonus forms a part of an established annual practice of the state government. Addressing concerns raised by lawmakers over alleged lack of legislative approval, Sirawu stressed that Governor Similaye Fubara remains committed to workers' welfare and proactive social support while maintaining focus on governance continuity despite the ongoing rift between the executive and the House of Assembly. Barrister Sims, what is your take on this story?
You see, the problem we have in Nigeria is that those in power, the president, the governors, they see, that particular seat as their private estate. And it's very wrong. Under the law, the question we are asking is that under the Nigerian constitution, for which the president, for which the governors swore to uphold the tenets and the sections of the constitution, where is it that a sitting governor can wake up one morning, or a sitting president can wake up one morning and say, I'm giving 500,000 naira, to workers, dash. I only saw that happen during the Udoji era, when Gowon, boastfully, and today we are regretting it. We glee, told the whole world that Nigeria has so much money. It's hard to spend it. That is Nigeria's problem. And that has kept us where we are today. So you can see the governor, for instance, saying that it's out of goodwill. Was that money budgeted for? Do you think you can just wake up one morning and dip your hand inside the treasury of the state and take out 1 billion, even 2 billion naira as case may be, and begin to share and distribute? Governors have been doing this all over Nigeria, but it is wrong. We have to call to question, acts of this kind of nature, as the case may be. The second one is this, and Nigerians will endorse, and accept, this kind of benevolence, illegal benevolence, from, state, actors, endorsing them. Look at all the workers are happy, joyfully singing the praise of the man as if it was from his personal pocket that he doled out this particular whatever. That is, for me, it is wrong. One, apart from the fact that it was not appropriated for under the budget of Rivers State. The second one is that it has even created more problems for workers. Now, let me give you a scenario. If government want to really help workers in Rivers State or anywhere at all, with additional 100,000 naira, the minimum wage paid in Rivers State, according to what I read, is 85,000 naira per worker. Why can't Sim Fubara spread that maybe 15,000 naira on a monthly basis to make the 85,000 naira 100,000 that you take home every month? That is, you say you have increased, you know, the wage from 85,000 naira to 100,000 for a period of 8 months. That is enabling the 100,000 you're giving at once will not be spread into 8 months, you know, time. That will sustain people. Now, if you give me 100,000 naira on my salary, I will spend it frivolously on chicken and rice and whatever in the mood of the season, as the case may be. I'll spend it just the way I like. But if you add 15,000 naira to my salary per month, making it 100,000 naira that I take home, it will be more beneficial to me than that one fresh soup, whatever. It's like you are giving them fish to eat and not teaching them on how to fish and how to preserve, you know, the fish that they have been able to be given. So that is, from my own aspect, that is the moral aspect of it, as the case may be. On the legal aspect of it, I have seen nowhere under our constitution. Because the money you're talking about, we roll it to millions, if not billions. I ask the question, does the governor or any governor in Nigeria or even the president has the premature authority to begin to dole out money as if he's an artful dodger, as if he's Robin Hood, as if he's an enemy that will steal from the bank and begin to share money on the street just to placate and pacify people while, you know, trying to get an escape route for him to go. For me, it is something that I strongly go against. The second aspect of it is this: when you give unsolicited gifts to people, you just wake up in the morning and see I begin to load people's accounts with 100,000 naira, all for political gains. Is Rivers State now a monarchy? Is it no longer a civilian dispensation of governance? Is it that the Rivers State government does not operate constitutional democracy any longer? That the laws of the Constitution must be upheld by the governor? That you wake up, which means, as it is today, he can wake up this morning and say he's giving 500,000 naira as New Year gift to all the women in Rivers State and beyond. These are frivolous, you know, expenditures and spendings, and it must be guarded and against. Finally, on this, I stand with the House of Assembly that said they did not ask. They don't want your 100,000. Take it back, as the case may be. 2, if you even want to, you know, felicitate with people in that category, as case may be, is it 100,000 naira you even give to them? Let's even use the word as a benevolent king. Let's use the word. You are a benevolent monarch now. If you ask benevolent monarch, is it 100,000 you give to them to their status citizens, as the case may be? Even though I'm not supporting the extra budgetary expenditure you just made, it is wrong in all ramifications and it should be condemned.
All right. Very well. Now, Barrister Sims, you have raised some points. First of all, that this money is unapproved.
Yes.
And secondly, that it is extra budgetary expenditure.
Absolutely.
And the money was not taken. So where is the money taken from? The House of Assembly is saying that it's being taken from the consolidated account. Now, if that is the case, this has to do with taxes generated from Rivers people. Isn't that it? Now, I pay tax in Rivers State just like every other person. However, I am not a civil servant on the payroll of the state. Now, if the governor, I raised this question yesterday and I'm still asking the question again. Why rob Peter to pay Paul? Because you're taking taxpayers' money to pay a select group of people who pay taxes. Whatever I do in the state also adds value to the economy of the state. So when the governor or anybody is presenting it like, oh, these people are dear to the state, they do so and so. Shop owners in Rivers State pay multiple taxes. Market women in Rivers State pay multiple taxes as well. So how come a section of people are being treated fairly or treated preferentially as against another sect of people. Meanwhile, you are treating them that way with the collective patrimony of the people of Rivers State. That
is a question that is difficult to answer, but I'll make an attempt to answer it. You see why? The Nigerian constitution and the Nigerian state has created that. That is the issue of this indigenship, citizenship. There's been a battle between indigenship and citizenship. It is very altruistic and about 95% correct as I stand here to say that many of the employees in the Rivers State government, are from Rivers State. It will be difficult for you to see somebody that is not from Rivers State working in the Rivers, civil service. It's rare. It's not just Rivers State, it's in Nigeria, all over Nigeria. So when you are going for employment, they will say, which state, local government, etc. as the case may be. So let me say preferential treatment is given to indigents and not citizens. That is what has happened in this case. Now, as a citizen, I pay my tax in Rivers State. You are incorrect. I practice my law and I have my office in Rivers State. I have business I do in Rivers State. I pay, multiple taxes. I have no complaint. My personal whatever I pay to Rivers State government as a citizen. But when it comes to distribution, they look at indigenship. That is indigents. Open and close. Because the workers in the civil service, like I said, for 95% or more are from Rivers State. They are indigents of the state. Maybe about 2% or 3% are from, they are non-Rivers people. I have been affected by that particular some years ago. I applied for a job in one of the ministries. I don't want to call that. I was qualified. Somebody saw an opening and said, let me chip it in. About 10, 15 years ago. We went for that interview. I passed the formal interview as a lawyer. We did all those things together. Then when it got to the selection process, local government of origin was not needed. Immediately I turned in my local government of origin, being from Edo State etc. My own was X. And I was substituted with somebody from Rivers State. I don't feel bad. It is like that in Nigeria, as the case may be. So in this case, as I speak, they have to look at it and let the government, not just Rivers State government, federal government, look at that dichotomy between, that the benefits accruing to citizens and indigents of the state is the constitution that polarized, that particular whatever. Now, if the constitution had, removed or maybe amended that section 42 or thereabout, talking about indigentship and discriminatory, whatever as the case may be, maybe he would have considered some other people as the case may be. But for him as a governor, he said, I am for the Rivers people. Who are the Rivers people? Are they the indigents or the citizens? Or the citizens and the indigents? When you say the Rivers people, who are the Rivers people? Are they the Rivers people, open and close, are they people who are indigents of Rivers State? Or are they people who are citizens of Rivers State? Or are they people who are citizens and indigents of Rivers State? If my children were born in Rivers State here, for instance, and I have two of them born here, they have never been to their community where their father is from. More than a week of they be there. But all their life they've stayed in Port Harcourt, in Rivers State. Now, when the child grows to that level, look at the state university, for instance. Discrimination is the same thing carried over here. Discrimination. The school fees of non-indigents is even more that of the indigents. I don't know if you understand. It is a practice that is a norm, but is sickening and disheartening. So my kids that were born here in the hospitals in Rivers State, they grew up, went to primary school, going to secondary, university in Rivers State. When it comes to sharing or whatever, you exclude them because you say they are not from Rivers State.
But then the question is,
but when you want to give benefits,
are we as citizens not contributing to the economy? Is this not a case of robbing Peter to pay
That
Paul.
is what is happening, with due respect to what is River State here. That is what happens all over Nigeria. Particularly in River State today. That has not been, brought to prominence by this kind of acts of exclusion. So the reason why that has happened is that I gave this analogy and example. When my children now grow up, they have never benefited anything from River State as, citizens, apart from the normal whatever we have. Then you give preferential treatment to Rivers people. You understand? You give them that treatment. But when it comes to taxing, you will tax my kids.
Multiple.
Those you excluded and said they are not indigenous of the state. That is unfair. So what I'm saying is that the law is very unfair, and that particular section of the Constitution that talks about indigenship, citizenship, etc. should be abolished and be made that citizenship should be the number one.
All right. So
that once I reside there for 10 years or whatever or more, I become a citizen of the state. That has been the argument right from time.
Right.
But it has not been implemented, and that is why I believe that the governor had to do what he did.
Now, still on the backdrop of this 100,000 naira Christmas bonus from the governor to civil servants and pensioners in River State, the NLC has come out to, commend the actions of the governor, probably because, they are the umbrella body that, caters to the welfare of workers. But they have come out to commend the actions of the governor. Now, you, on the other hand, you're saying that the actions of the governor is unlawful.
Illegal.
It's illegal. All right. So now we are now having a union commending what you will call an illegality. How do we reconcile this? Because
they have commended the act of benevolence, open and close, of a governor does not make the action of the governor legal. Do you understand? Because a 419 man defrauded somebody in the US and now went to donate $1 billion in a church, does not make that man a Christian. That you say is only him that is loved by God. So if, for instance, the NSC, of course, the NSC today is like a floating reed on top of River Niger water. A reed floating. It is controlled by the tide of, or the currency, or the color of the notes that is in front of them. Stomach restructuring is what the NLC is known for. National, state, and local government. So they will praise and emulate, even if a Robin Hood becomes a governor, they will praise him as far as he's giving them, 10,000 naira, monthly, and call it daily benefits or benevolence from the governor. They don't want to know whether it's illegal or not. That is the problem we are having. Our moral thread has been destroyed. It has been dismembered. It's the same thing that happened in our locality, and that is why Nigeria today is at this low ebb. A boy who is 21 years old brings a car of 60 million naira to your house as a father. You have not questioned him. How did you come about? You begin to hug him and throw parties. I even called chiefs in the village to come and celebrate him. The moral thread has been broken. That can happen in those days. So that is the kind of thing that happened here. So the NIC has lost its moral rectitude against financial gratification. They cannot talk on anything that is legal anymore. Anything that is illegal, insofar as it benefits them, they are ready to genuflect koto and begin to emulate the giver. But I am telling them that what they are emulate today will haunt them tomorrow. If the NSC had advised the governor, as the case may be, like I proposed, the governor can have 100,000 budgeted per civil servant in the state, but spread into 8 months of the year. To make it 85,000, you take it as a minimum, another 15,000 naira every month on it, it becomes 100,000 naira that you will take for the next 1 year as a river civil servant. that will be more beneficial for me, and that will be more congruent because it's coming into payment of wages and salaries for the month, not gratification.
Right.
So these are the things they have to understand. But they will not do that because to them sin is like it's like a honey pot to them now. Sin is infallible right now. Before sin supporters, he does no wrong. Any act of illegality is legal. The doctrine of necessity has taken over governance in Rivers State. Illegality is no longer an issue as far as it's done by the governor of the state because they love him. You understand the point now? But if an unloved person does the same, you will see the atavistic nature they will attack the person. These are the issues we have. That is why Nigeria is in this state that we are working on distended stomach and spindle legs today. This is a new year. We need to change. And all governors, especially Rivers State governors, should follow the trend of the Constitution and do the acts as required and requested by the Nigerian Constitution. The money is given out, by the executive governor as gratification or benefit, whatever, is an illegal amount that was taken from the state treasury, disbursed illegally, through conduit, whatever. Don't be surprised tomorrow that when they are giving the account of audited account of what happened, they will tell you they have spent about 3 billion to give gratification to Rivers State workers in 2025 December.
But then the commissioner was speaking. He said it's a culture of the state government and that this has been happening for 3 years. Now they're saying it's a culture of this current government.
If a culture is repugnant to equity, like in this case, is repugnant to equity. Equity I'm talking about is that it's not distributed equally. For those of us who pay tax, where are we? Is it because we don't work for Rivers State or whatever the case may be? Should be some incentive for us to pay more tax? That is number one. Now, if a culture is repugnant to a law, then it's not a valid culture.
Right. For
instance, female genital mutilation is a culture, but it's repugnant to law right now in Nigeria. So will you say that because it's a culture that it will be allowed to stay, as the case may be? These are things we have to look at. So when culture runs in grain and incongruent with the law must take its course.
You're right. Very well.
That is my own take on this. So if it is culture of illegality, are you going to continue that culture of illegality? I know that those apologists and Philistine carpetbaggers who support him will say that the immediate past governor gave 500 million to Sokoto and gave another 500 million to Benue during his administration. Does that mean that if the act was an illegal act, that you have to continue on that illegal trajectory? Then how and where lies the new Nigeria we're asking for? So if it's a culture of impunity, then we have to obey it and follow it, even if it goes against the law. Then why do we have constitution? Then we should go to customary democracy then, as the case may be. So those who are saying it's a culture, it's a shibboleth argument, puerile one for that matter, very scurrilous, and at the same time mendacious. It's so sad that people can come in knee-jerk and begin to say things of this nature just because the most friendly, the most wanted or loved person is in power. Illegality is illegality.
All right, very well. Moving on, still on Rivers State crisis. Political crisis in Rivers State escalated on Wednesday as the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, accused Governor Siminalayi Fubara of reneging on a peace agreement brokered by President Bola Tinubu to resolve the prolonged power struggle in the state. Wike made the allegation during a thank-you visit to Tai local government area, claiming that the agreement was reached during a closed-door meeting convened by President Tinubu at the State House in Abuja in June 2025. According to him, The deal was aimed at ending the political stalemate that led to a state of emergency and the suspension of the governor and members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. He accused Fubara of failing to honor the terms of the agreement, insisting that the commitments were made directly before the president. Wike said he would soon make public the full details of the accord to enable Rivers people understand what was agreed upon. The former Rivers governor warned against trusting political actors who fail to keep their promises as tensions continue to simmer in the state amid uncertainty over the future of the fragile peace process. Sims, what do you make of this development in Rivers State?
You see, I have listened and watched carefully and read so much about what Governor Emeritus Nyesom Wike said, that there's an agreement. If there is something I love Nyesom Wike for, is that he's very direct. He does not, begin to, cut corners or put water in his mouth to say things that he believes in, the principles he stands for. Whether you like it or not, that is none of his business. But he will come out and tell you this is what has happened. In this case, the governor did not tell us. You could see that there was an act of, clandestine, whatever motives there. He only said we have settled, we have peace is now everywhere. He didn't even tell his supporters that, look, there's an agreement I have to sign, I'm going for peace meeting with this man, and we did an agreement. I don't know whether they asked him not to say or tell anybody that an agreement was entered. I don't know. But be that as it may, agreement is agreement. The moment you have agreed and accepted to go and negotiate with somebody, and resolutions were reached in that particular agreement, whether tripartite, bipartisan, or whatever as case may be, multi-party, whatever agreement, it is an agreement that is between you and is binding on the three of you. It's called gentleman's agreement. Now, when you sign that particular agreement and you now go, and you now maybe ride on the surf of, some things, some forces who prevail, or you say, why did you do that? You have lost that trust because you have reneged on what you agreed with somebody. That is where you see they say he's a dishonest kind of person. He's a man that, is a traitor. He has the trait of a traitor. He has the trait of a Brutus. He has the trait of, Peter. Those who can betray, whatever was agreed. Now, if Wike has said there is an agreement, and he has said that he's going to openly let us know exactly the kind of agreement that they entered in the coming days, I don't doubt him. I believe he's going to do that. But my worry in this instance is this, number one. If I were to have seen, Nyesom Wike, I would have asked him or told him or informed him that, sir, this man you want to go and, discuss with right now, some months ago, there was an agreement he entered with the president. He came back and reneged on that particular agreement. Can this man be trusted this time around to enter a second agreement? These are things the observations I would have made. Because a Fubara is somebody that is very easy to sign papers. He loves signing with his red biro. So if he say do this, say no problem, he will just sign. Then when he comes out of that particular place and he sees the sunlight, he begins to tell you that was not what was agreed, or I'm not going to follow that kind of agreement. So is he a man that should be trusted or should have been trusted for a second agreement? That is number two. The third one, for his supporters, The question I would have asked Simple Bara as a governor is, Mr. Governor, sir, with due respect, you told us that the first agreement to end, that the 10 points agenda or whatever, before the state of emergency was declared, that you renege on there, you were not going to do. Why did you go again to go and sign an agreement without informing your key supporters? That shows you that the governor has a mind to deceive his followers and his supporters. He is more or less like foxy, and at the same time, he has the character of a fox and a cat. You understand? So when you see people like that, you begin to ask yourself a question. Even you, the supporters, ask this man that if pressure is put on him again, he will not recant again and go and beg again and ask for a third agreement. These are questions that should bother the minds of people on both sides of the divide. You understand? For me, I would have been very, very skeptical, even discountenance any mooted idea of entering into any agreement with a Simple Bara because of what he did in the first instance.
All right.
In that particular agreement that created the problem that led to the state of emergency being declared in Rivers State. Now this particular agreement again, the second time. So what exactly is happening?
Now, Barrister Sims, if I'm to follow your trajectory, I want to ask a question. Now, there was an agreement before the state of emergency, which was reneged.
That's right.
And now we had state of emergency. And prior to that state of emergency, it's important to note that there was threat of impeachment. I think impeachment process has already started prior to that state of emergency. And then the Supreme Court judgment also concretized whatever move that the Rivers State House of Assembly was making at that time, because the judgment actually indicted the governor. Now, moving forward, the state of emergency was a political solution, correct?
Yes.
Not a legal.
That is
a political solution.
A political legal solution.
Now, but does that wash away the sins or the impeachment offenses that the governor committed?
It does not.
Now, the third question is, if the governor reneged, or because whatever agreement that was reached was to save him from impeachment, is that correct?
That is what we are made to understand.
If he is reneging on that agreement as alleged by the FCT minister, does that open the door for the Rivers State House of Assembly to start impeachment process again?
Of course, of course. You see, when you enter into a contract or an agreement, there's a legal maxim that says volenti non fit injuria. If you enter into an agreement voluntarily, you do not have any right to complain at the end of the day on what was agreed. But there are legal verbs also that you can say, I'm not the one that did the, I didn't agree, I didn't sign, I didn't do this. That's another discourse another day. That is why you find out that in this case, a footballer who signs a contract, if another footballer breaks his leg on the field, maybe where they are playing the football, he cannot bring an action against that particular footballer because of that, principle of volatility, because you already know what we are going to see there. That football is a physical game. You can, get injury. You won't take your eyes off while playing it by an opponent. So you don't need to compete. Even boxers, as the case may be, Anthony Joshua do not need to be charged for murder if, for instance, he kills, or maybe in the course of his whatever. So now it's the same thing that I see here. Now, if you have, a contract of this nature between them, a gentleman's agreement between them, every breach of an agreement has consequences. You can take legal steps to redress the breached, contracts, the breachiness of that particular agreement. You can also take some illegal steps to, remediate situations. That is why you find out that drug barons and people who do drugs at times, they will say they killed that man because there was an agreement entered. He didn't fulfill, and bring the money. So they have to go after him. You understand? The other, in the political arena, like that is what is happening today now. Of course, the House of Assembly, which is loyal to Race Wiki as case may be, we dust up the file and begin to look at it and say, this man has started again. You understand the point now? Then we are going to initiate proceedings of impeachment against him. And mind you, under the Constitution, they say gross misconduct. And that is left to, their discretion, as the case may be. So it depends on what they describe as gross misconduct. They can lash in on one of all these things. For instance, this payment just now that they made.
This particular
payment they made.
They said that they did not approve.
They didn't approve it. And they have returned it. They can even lash in on that, as a yardstick or a platter for them to now initiate those. It's left to them to do. But it is their prerogative. It is their prerogative. And if that is done, it can be also a wheel balancer. It can also be an enforcer. You understand? In the sense that when that is deployed, it whip the person into line. Because Nigerian politicians love power. You see, a sitting government will tell you, I want to do one term. The moment he sits there for 2 months or 3 months, he sees the nectar of life, of success or power. He begins to look for second tenure. So they love power. So once you threaten the seat of power at the end of the day, they will do every means possible to make sure they retain it. So it's either he will shape in or he will create more confusion again, like it happened before the emergency situation in Rivers State. So that is what is going to happen.
So now, looking at this whole scenario right now, how do you see this playing out this year? How do you see this playing out?
It's going to be tough.
On one hand, they are saying, a lot of political pundits are saying, because the governor has defected to the APC, he's now under the protection of President Bola Tinubu, and that has changed the political dynamics of Rivers State. Now, I am looking at, does defecting to APC wash away the sin of impeachment that is like a noose hanging over the neck of the governor now that he has reneged on that agreement? How do you see this whole political ecosystem going ahead in 2026?
If the president was involved in that particular agreement, he will be very angry with Seif Ubara. If he was contacted and he gave his seal and consent to the agreement, and once it was resolved, they went back to it to say, we have agreed. He will say, go back and begin to rule. Minister, please let him be, as case may be. If the president now finds out that, what I said, I gave my consent to, you went back to renege on it, he will not be happy with the governor. He will not be happy. So he's going to take a lot of political engineering from the governor's side to now placate the minister and also buy the president over to now give reasons why I did not, follow the agreement that we informed you about.
But you've forgotten that the governor traveled to Abuja, had a closed-door meeting with the president.
Yes.
And then after that meeting, a few hours down the line, announced his defection.
Absolutely, we know. We understand. That is what I'm saying, that in politics, tables always turn. It's like a Russian roulette in politics. You cannot determine what happens. The governor can even become, maybe the president can become atavistic to the man immediately now and say, is this how you want to treat me? After giving you the leeway and a soft landing, and I said, I don't want trouble in that state, we are coming back again. They are telling me that what was agreed, that you are not following it, he might be very angry. He might also call on him and say, look, I don't want this particular matter to exacerbate. Go back and implement those particular, resolutions of the agreement. The president can also look at it and say, okay, the reasons the governor gave, for not following, maybe they were valid. Okay, Mr. Minister, please, let's just leave it for political reasons. And let there be stability and peace in Rivers State. Since this is an election year, if we can solve this, forgive him, let me use the word. It now depends on how the trial are able to work themselves out.
That will now that will now come to a third agreement.
Another agreement again. Maybe they will reach an agreement, but for me, I would say they should not enter into agreement with him again. Because I know that people like that, if you reach agreement with a girl and you have the handwriting of a Gabriel there, he will still disappoint you.
All right. Moving forward, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has described the defection of Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressive Congress as ill-timed and lacking political substance ahead of the 2027 elections. Speaking during an end-of-the-year media chat in Port Harcourt, Wike said Fubara moved to the APC without any solid political structure, noting that the defection about 22 local government chairmen and nearly half of the members of the Rivers State House of Assembly had already left the PDP for the ruling party. Mocking the governor's move, Wike said true leadership is shown by the ability to mobilize followers, stressing that slogans or public declarations of support do not automatically translate to electoral strength or party dominance. Asims, what is your take on this?
See, this is a very interesting topic. Now, the governor, yes, has defected to APC, and I subscribe to the argument of Nyesom Wike to the extent that the governor is a political paperweight in terms of substance, in terms of what he will bring to the table. Because when the chips are down, because his supporters have been banding and saying, look, Tinubu will support him, Tinubu is going to do that. Let me tell you this. It's not going to be on a platter of gold. The president is desirous of a second tenure. He has not hidden that fact and the ambition to do another 4 years. The president also has an armada, a convoy, a litany of obstacles on his way. The fusion, the amalgamation of political renegades in ADC right now is posing a mortal and debilitating threat to the ambition of President Tinubu becoming or serving for another 4 years, 2027, as the case may be. So it's a desperate time for him. He's working on a thin thread that if he does not act very carefully and cleverly, he will not win. His action will either make or mar. And I want to say this starting from number one. Let me start from Lagos State. The president might not win Lagos State again because they lost it in 2023. I just left Lagos to Port Harcourt and I participated in the political firmament and ecosystem in Lagos before I got here. President Tinubu might not win Lagos State 2027 because the issue of the Igbo, Yoruba, whatever, is pronounced. And the Igbos in Yorubas and non-Indigenous are more conscious. On street corners in Akamu joints and beans eating joints, people are saying, come 2027, they are rubbing their hands that they will do something that the president will not understand in 2027 in Lagos. So Lagos is on the balance. In Kano State, President Tinubu right now is doing everything within his means to make sure he captures Kano State. That is why you see defection, working on Kwankwaso to bring this down. Then in the other state, I'm calling these states that the states that has, voting there, whatever. Then you now go to Kaduna. Kaduna State is safe for him to an extent. Kano State to an extent, he can get some things there. Then in the south, outside of Lagos, in the south, is River State. So the president cannot play with River State and give it in the hands of a political neophyte. I want to ask the question, Hope Uzodinma supporting Sim Fubara openly was not able to score 25% for president under the 2027, 2023 electoral, whatever. He was not able.
You mean in his state? Yes.
In his state.
In Imo State.
In Imo State. Hope Uzodinma, if he brings a candidate for governorship in Imo State, people will not vote. So he cannot even win Imo State as it is for President Tinubu because he's a Supreme Court governor, we know. In River State, he's influencing, to use SIM as a tool to get whatever from the president and work. But it's not going to work. The president cannot decide to undermine and underrate a Yesowike. Is a salamander. Yesowike is an armada, a Spanish armada itself. It's a capsule, a war capsule, political war capsule. Now, what do I mean by that? See, Fubara is a protege, and Yesowike is a progenitor of a C. Fubara dynasty, whether he likes it or not. We knew how he brought in like raw gold from the dust and molded him into what he is today as a governor, that those men are not supposed to say they are the ones. A C. Fubara cannot stand a Yesowike if, for instance, he decides to battle him in APC. A Yesowike has not said he has left PDP, he's still a member of PDP. He has the foundation of PDP in his pants. He has been working assiduously, strenuously to make sure that Makinde does not take the PDP over. The rest have run away. And he got a major victory. The man has never lost any political war. He got a major victory through INEC, who recognized his faction of PDP. So that is in his coffers right now. In the APC that C. Fubara is boasting about, or his supporters are boasting, is 001 etc. I don't understand what is 001. Is it 001 of APC or 001 of Rivers State? As the case may be, we must have to differentiate. That is number one. The APC you are, C. Fubara are your supporters. All the men there, the structure there belongs to Yesowike. Tony Okocha faction brought you into APC. APC has two factions. I don't know if you have forgotten. APC has two factions in Rivers State. The Emeka Beke faction, Tony Okocha faction. But the way Tony Okocha and Yesowike were able to maneuver and take over the machinery of APC in Rivers State should politically baffle those and the president and know that Yesowike, possess that power. You may not like his way of politics, but if he's a man that wants to deliver, he will deliver. So that is the advice I'm giving to Tinubu. Now, what am I talking about? All the members of the legislature of the National Assembly have all defected to APC, are of their own Yesowike card-carrying members. They are life wire, they are transformers, electric transformers of Yesowike behind him. The House of Assembly in Rivers State today, forget those who said they are PDP in APC. All the 28 or more of those people are supporters of Yesowike, die-hard supporters of Yesowike. They are in APC. Look at people like Victor Giadom, etc. So if you look at APC, both national etc. down here, as the case may be, Yesowike is a salamander, like I used the word. So where is same structure in APC that is going to use to convert and take over? If we can decide that he wants to battle same and in the primaries front a candidate in APC, it will be difficult for C. Fubara to get a second ticket. Because I believe that Wike, can work and get that ticket for the preferred candidate that he has. Except same goes to, harmonized position, synchronized position with Yesowike. There is no need to deceive yourself. Politics is not done on social media. Politics is not an maladroit kind of whatever, where you drink a beverage and begin to say, Mama, give me one more whatever, and they supply you. No. It's not reverse, but it's an important state. And coming to people who are saying that President Tinubu is going to deal with Wike, he is going to make sure. Tinubu cannot do that. If he does not consult with Wike and he goes ahead to endorse Fubara, you are going to see what's going to happen. It's going to be what I call political harakiri for President Tinubu and APC in Rivers State. Because for record, we have seen a man who can deliver more than 1 million votes consistently. In the Buhari era, it was a Yesowike that gave Rivers State to Tinubu. He was not even open as it is today. Where were the other governors? Amechi was in this state. He was in the presidential candidate, whatever of Buhari. He could not even do anything for APC. His candidate lost woefully. So when people talk about this thing and proposing Yesowike on social media that he said this, no, they are going to see what's going to happen. I am telling you that the structure of APC in Rivers State and PDP in Rivers State are in the hands of Yesowike. And anybody that wants to get that ticket must come out to align with him or ship out. So don't let anybody deceive you. I know that I'm giving an advice to Saint Fubara today as a governor, executive governor. We love you so much. Too many Ahithophels in your government. Too many Ahithophels between David and Absalom. If you are a Christian, go and read about what Ahithophel did. Your praise singers today are leading you to the death knell, political death knell. They are there because you turn out. They are there because of the honeypot of River State. But those with true motive, patriotic, we ask you to retrace yourself and don't allow you to be referred to, as a Brutus of our time or any other time, people that will betray. I will take you an advice to go and read Dante Alighieri's, Dante's Inferno. He says that Satan choose on the cord of betrayal. Satan choose on the, he chop food on the cord of betrayal. So when you betray people, you see a lot of supporters following you. Because they know that as you have betrayed that man, they will gain, something from you temporarily. That was what happened between, David, Absalom, and Ahithophel. When Ahithophel had the support, everything going around, what happened to him in the Bible? He went to hang himself. So you have a lot of Ahithophels in your government and your support base. They cannot stand the test of time. They are sinking sands.
But then, Barrister Sims, that also brings me to when you were talking about Ahithophel and people advising the governor, possibly misleading him. Now, to a large extent, one would say, hasn't the governor, or one would ask, one would expect that the governor probably would have learned from experience, recent experience. The advice he got so far made him contravene a lot of laws, and the Supreme Court judgment indicted him. And then when state of emergency came, those people that were advising him, their voices were nowhere to be found. And now the governor is back. And the aboriginal supporters of the governor is not even, to a large extent, I have not seen his aboriginal supporters, being recognized as against those people that are backing him up that said we don't go serve Papa.
Where is the simplified movement? Was it not the one that said it?
Now, coming to the primaries, the APC primaries, like you said, I want to know something. I want clarification from the law. You are a seasoned lawyer. Can a governor who is impeached contest for second tenure? Can the governor who is impeached run for elective position?
If he goes on that party or in the same political party, yes, he can. He can.
Okay, he can, but he had. But
he can say they can still be on the same medicine. Impeachment is not conviction.
All right.
Impeachment is not conviction. If you look at, I think section 178 or thereabout, I'm not too sure about the section now, but the section talks about qualification for becoming a governor.
Okay.
It's only
that was
an ex-convict. That was not included as an ex-convict. Maybe an ex-convict, dual citizenship, etc. Impeachment does not form part of that, one of those preconditions.
Right.
So he can still contest for a second tenure, as the case may be.
How does that affect his chances?
It will affect him politically, but not legally. He has the right to do that because that impeachment does not bar him from picking the forms.
Yes.
But he may be denied to say, no, if we come, this man is going to give us negative image again. People will not vote against him. Now, it takes me back to your question. Now, let me tell you, the National Working Committee are the ones that decide the fate of
APC National Working
yes,
Committee.
or any political party, or those that will become candidates for their political parties. Who are the delegates? The delegates, are they not people that are appointed members of the House of Assembly of the party in the state? Members of the National Assembly of the state, and some other local government chairman, etc. These are the delegates. And in River State, if for instance they want to do a primaries today now, who are the delegates that will go?
All of them are with the FCC.
So if they are doing direct or indirect, because you have the choice, there are 3 modes under the Electoral Act that you can choose a candidate, you choose your party candidate. Consensus, indirect and direct primaries. Now, in the primaries, is it all of us that will go there and begin to participate? Is it not delegates?
Delegates.
Who are the delegates? All the delegates that will come for Rivers State or vote in Rivers State, are they not from the FCT minister? Even if some of them defect, he's going to go with about 95% of the delegate, turnout. So it is, you see, I see there is what I call this goddess Oris, Kyodomos. That is the Greek goddess of strife and troubles. Whether that has invaded the camp of Simple Brother, I wouldn't know now, because he is filled with strife and confusion every time.
But what if the possibility, because this is politics, yes, and everybody has interest, and some of the persons who are actually backing the governor also have interest to run for governorship of Rivers State come 2027. Could it be possible that part of the advice could be even to bring him to more disfavor, and that would be one less contender ahead of 2027?
I didn't get you very correctly or rightly.
Now, what I said is, some persons who actually said we no go serve Papa serve Pikin are the ones backing the governor, right? Now, some of these people said they no go serve Pikin in that balance, because they also have interests, and they feel they are more qualified.
Yes.
Now, so far, for seasoned politicians to be advising the governor, and he was making all these mistakes, and right now, another crisis that one should say is a very avoidable is brewing again, still with the same people by his side. My question is, considering that this whole thing is about interest, do you think there is a possibility of the governor's advisors giving him or nudging him in this direction? Because as long as he's an incumbent, he's a threat. And to a large extent, bringing the governor before disfavor, before the FCT minister and the president at the long run, is one less contender for them.
You see, the point is, the politics is very interesting. And what gives me the joy, a sizzling joy, is that the Yesuke knows exactly how to play his politics very smartly and cleverly. Now, if those, like the allusions you made reference to, of course, there is the possibility of those playing out. We can't rule out, a third force, coming into the game. But who is going to be the third force? Where are they coming from? Because even as it is now, the forces that were behind Simfobra before the state of emergency, they have disappeared into oblivion. In fact, right now, most of them are trading in the abyss of hunger and starvation. Now, if you look at them, politically, they are becoming irrelevant. On a daily basis, they are going down. Except one or two of them can reinvent themselves like the mythical bed of phoenix, where you say they rose from the ashes. I don't see that capabilities in any of those surrogate fathers that he had. But we look at them. If you call them right now, they are politically weak. They are relics. If they were to be, war machines, they will be relics right now. If they were to be history, they will be anachronistic, as the case may be. So if they were, cast in the mode of mortars, they will be feeble right now, nearing their mortal end. Politically, they are dead. You understand? So they should be statesmen right now, not even politicians, because they have nothing to offer right now. They have lost it completely. The rudder is no longer there for them. And it's in a merciless situation they found themselves. That Yesuke is merciless when it comes to politics, etc., that involves intrigues of this nature. So he must not be taken for right. So I don't know where that third force is going to come from, except it is manufactured or conjured by Wike to destabilize the system. That is what I feel can, happen in that circumstance. Otherwise, it will be very difficult. But see, for me, I have looked at this, periscope the landscape of Rivers politics. It's a lose-lose for Saint Fubara, except it turns around to make peace and synchronize with his political godfather in Rivers State.
All right. Very well. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue. Do not go away. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Labour Party has apologized to Nigerians following the defection of its 2023 presidential candidate, Peter Obi, to the African Democratic Congress, describing his exit as a relief and the party's final liberation. In a strongly worded statement signed by its factional National Publicity Secretary, Obi Araifo, the party said it had parted ways with Obi since September 2024 and blamed him, alongside Abia State Governor Alex Oti, for the internal crisis that plagued the party. Labour Party accused both men of sponsoring actions against the Julius Abure-led leadership. The party further dismissed Obi's defection event as poorly attended and warned that his new political project was already doomed, admitting that fielding him as presidential candidate in 2023 was a mistake and formally asking Nigerians for forgiveness. Barrister Sims.
You know, when this story broke, first of all, Peter Obi has gone to ADC. He smacks off the litany of Nigerian, particular characters of a Nigerian politician. So they are just like political nomads. They are not better than the Fulani headsmen who wander from place to place, as the case may be. Peter Obi, has followed suit to join the bandwagon of those who defect, to the extent that most of them might not even know the party they last contested. That is his personal business. He has the right to associate to any political party. Can even go back to PDP tomorrow, or return to APC, or even ALLD, as the case may be. For me, he smacks off of a lack of ideology for some of these political people. Because for those who are saying that he defected because he wanted, if he does not do that, then he will not get power. Then I'm not saying there are power thinkers who seek power for themselves and not for the people. So you now believe that the only way you can belong is for you to go and hobnob with even criminals and thieves, if that be the case. I'm not referring to whoever that is in the other party as such, but there are nebulous characters with scurrilous particulars that will make us begin to look at that particular amalgam. If I were to be in his shoes, I would not even be there. Now, two is that will Obi survive that particular crowded environment? Because if you look at the ADC, in my own opinion, we implode very soon, because a lot of renegades are there. Anybody that is dissatisfied now with Tinubu, he will run to ADC. And when you have too much power packed in a place, even in a bottle, it will get broken or burst, as the case may be. A lot of interest are there. El-Rufai is there. El-Rufai has been silent for some time. Some new people are now coming up, taking over from El-Rufai. So it's going to be a party of troubles and confusion. At the end of the day, how they pan it out, I wish them well. I wish Peter will be well in ADC. If he wins the presidential ticket of ADC, well, he might have a way. But it will be very difficult. That is my assessment. Right. Where an Atiku is, Amechi is, you have people who are moving, down. These people are power thirsty and power hungry, as the case may be. So where lies Peter Obi's ambition, I don't know. At best, maybe he'll be a vice president. That is what we have been hearing, that he's going to be a vice president to either Atiku, between himself and Amechi. One of them will be vice presidential candidate to Atiku Abubakar, who will run one single term. Or on the other side, they said Atiku has agreed and told Peter Obi to run one term of 4 years. I don't have anything against that. Even if he runs for 6 months, that is his own prerogative, as the case may be. Now, the narrative is that, do I see respect Peter Obi? I respect him. I follow a school of thought in terms of periscoping, ideological, watershed, as the case may be. I'm still there, but we may have political differences in terms of where he's trying to, nurture that his political ambition under. I might not agree with him, but in his philosophy of how to gear Nigeria and bring back a new Nigeria, it's okay by me. Now, coming to the topic of discourse, you see, Abure Julius should be ashamed of himself. He can't begin to say that Obi was a liability. The obedient movement are not members of Labour Party. But we cascaded ourselves, moved ourselves, mobilized ourselves without nobody giving us a penny to work for Labour Party candidates and P2B in 2023. Not because of Abure, not because of Labour Party, but because of P2B. So P2B was not a liability and was not a liability. It's an asset that was lost. And for Abure to allow an asset like P2B to go out of Labour Party is a big mistake. They ought to have, kind of talked to him, persuaded him, and bring him back to Labour Party. With the exit of P2B, Labour Party is going into oblivion. Labour Party is going to be like the Egyptian Sphinxes. Labour Party is no longer in the front burner of politics. I don't know who they are going to bring forth as a candidate. Many obedients are going to, leave that place and begin to look for some. We are all scattered now, looking for where to go and, support. Many will go to ADC, maybe some of them who do not really know, and those who feel that it's a do or die affair, will follow P2B to ADC as case may be. Two, is that why is he apologizing to Nigerians? Nigerians know the value of P2B. It is not a bure for us for him to say. The reason why P2B left, Labour Party, even why most of us, almost left Labour Party, let me put it very straight, is because of a bure-led, faction in Labour Party. A particular faction that has dismembered Labour Party, a particular faction that has taken that yoke or burden off his shoulders of corruption. I remember there's a battle that the treasurer once accused Abure of stealing 1.2 billion naira. And he didn't go to court to controvert, what that woman said, that lady said. I have not heard Abure sue that woman for defamation, etc. as case may be. So it was corruption reading. That was why most of them left. Where is Pat told me today? I saw the face of Pat Tomi in ADC. He was looking very quiet. Where is he right now? Pat Tomi was not even a member of the Labour Party, but he was part of the Labour Party that had P2B on as case may be. So Labour Party for me right now is down and out. So P2B has to go and foray and get more whatever for himself. I wish him the best in what I do, but Abure should withdraw that statement that he apologizes to Nigeria that P2B was a liability. It is not true. P2B was not a liability. It's not a liability. It's an asset to Labour Party, and what's an asset to Labour Party? It's also an asset to any political party he goes into right now. Whether we will win election in 2027, that's another thing for us to ruminate over, as the case may be.
All right. Thank you so much, Asim Adams Esquire, for coming on Open Conversation. It was a pleasure having you today.
Always a pleasure.
And happy New Year once again.
Yes, happy New Year.
And thank you so much, our viewers, for always staying connected to us. And this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Open Conversation. We are open for sponsorship of the program, advert placements, news, events coverage, and commercials. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv, on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. You can also watch us on Avo TV, Niger TV, and Efastech TV platform. You can connect with us on our ATN socials by subscribing, like, and share. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. And on X, Atlantic TV Net. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Laurentia Ugu. Happy New Year to everyone. It's a good thing seeing you on this new side of 2026. I'll see you same time tomorrow. Bye for now.